Hello everybody and welcome to Partner News Live, May the 1st. Welcome to the new month. On Pickian News today we have some feedback from one of you, so I will be answering your question. Then our primary guests today will be from Radius Telematics. We'll have Angela Lawson and Alex Burgin, and they'll be giving us some teasers about what Radius Telematics does and previewing perhaps some of the videos and content that they've sent to us to be loaded up on myconectus.com. Thank you everybody for what you have done last week on SMB days. Apparently the sales are through the roof, so congratulations and thank you for that. But of course, we're still in the middle of the second quarter, and so we'll have a new face. I'll be introducing Shelley Stapp, who will be cherry picking some of the ongoing offers during this second quarter of 2024. Okay, let's get going.
After our last episode, one of you wrote to ask why I was so negative about NASA. Well, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with NASA. You know, I get a little bit miffed when they refer to near-Earth asteroids as anything that comes within 120 million miles of Earth's orbit. Notice that I said millions, not thousands of miles. On the other hand, the moon, they say, is in deep space. Folks, it's only 240,000 miles away. That's thousands, not millions. Come on, NASA. Make up your mind. Meanwhile, on a happier note, Voyager 1 is back in the news this week, and it is in deep space. It is 15 billion, with a B, 15 billion miles away. After problems lasting the last 5 months, Voyager is back to communicating with us here on Earth. Both Voyagers, 1 and 2, were launched in 1977. They are travelling in different directions, but both are now outside of our solar system. And before we get to talk with Alex and Angela from Radius, I just want to mention my own personal hero, Edwin Aldrin Jr., better known as Buzz Aldrin. General Aldrin was a US Air Force colonel in July 1969 when, well, you know, I think I'm going to show you a reenactment from the movie First Man with Corey Stoll playing Buzz Aldrin and Ryan Gosling playing the part of civilian Neil Armstrong. So here we are inside the moon lander discovering the radar isn't working. And Buzz is saying, shall we tell Houston? And Armstrong says, no, let's continue. So there's Buzz looking at Armstrong thinking, this guy's a loony. And then all of a sudden the master alarm goes off, and then the 1202 alarms, and Buzz is looking at the abort button that will lift them back into orbit to safety, but instead he lets Neil Armstrong continue and doesn't hit that abort button. Nerves of steel, I'm telling you, incredible. And then Buzz is looking out the window and he sees these gigantic boulders and he says, we can't land here. Now Houston doesn't know what's going on. They can only see the telematics, the telemetry, and they see Neil Armstrong switch off the computer and take the joystick and starts flying the spacecraft horizontally, manually, and back in Houston they're having fits. What the hell's going on? As the spacecraft is going horizontally and using up all the fuel, they've got less than a minute's worth of fuel, and they're flying over a giant crater that they can't land in either, and all the alarms are still going off, and still Buzz sits there and trusts Neil Armstrong. Tell you, nerves of steel, just freaking incredible. And again, Houston doesn't know what's going on because they've lost voice communications. They can only see the telematics. The fact that the spacecraft is flying horizontally when it should be landing on the surface of the moon. And finally they clear over the edge of the crater. Armstrong brings it down and they land on the moon with only 13 seconds of fuel left before they fall out of the sky and crash.
You know, I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theory people. like Saddam Hussein ate my hamster, or Rick Stapp earns $1 million a month consulting for ZTE and Huawei. But a few years ago, some fella tricked poor Buzz into turning up at a hotel to shoot some documentary for a children's television show, only it was all faked. And so poor Buzz turns up and he's accosted by this loony. The video's not very good, but I've put subtitles on it.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself. Away from me. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
The fellow did take Buzz to court and tried to sue him for assault, but of course the court threw out his assault claim for very obvious reasons. Alrighty then, moving on quickly, it's time to say hello to Angela and Alex from Radius Telematics.
Hi, Angela and Alex. I see you're outdoors. Where are you today?
We're actually in Louisville, Kentucky at Angela's farm.
Oh, fantastic. The weather looks great there.
It is.
It's beautiful. Thank God. Yeah. We've been waiting months.
Yes.
Same here. Hey, but listen, you heard me mention telematics with regard to NASA. Obviously, data transmissions moved on from then. Could you describe in general terms for our partners, what are telematics?
Sure. So in this space and what we do, we're talking about, let's think GPS, location. So everything we do from a corporate fleet perspective is where are vehicles, what are they doing, and how are they operating efficiently? So we're pulling in the hard telemetry data. We're transferring that data over the Verizon network back to our solution that is a cloud-based solution. And we're giving you all of that hard telemetry data. So not just location, but we're pulling data from the ECM. So diagnostic data, anything, fuel pressure wrong, any of that kind of stuff. That's what telematics is in our world. We go anywhere from the simplest telematics from an asset tracking solution and just where is my piece of equipment, all the way up to the most extensive artificial intelligence tied in with telematics from a video perspective. So, and everything in between.
What's ECM? What's the ECM, Angela?
The ECM is actually that port. So when you pull into the mechanic shop and they need to reset your computer and they plug into that little OBD2 port, that is talking to the ECM of the vehicle. So it's the computer. So the electronic control module.
Yeah, no, we're all familiar with that little port, usually just under the dashboard on the left-hand side, although sometimes I've seen it under the carpet as well.
Yes.
But, tell us a little bit about Radius, please.
Yeah, sure. So Radius was founded over 30 years ago. We are a UK-based company. So we started in the fuel business from a fuel perspective, fuel cards, that kind of thing. We've expanded over the years. There's now 6 different entities within Radius. I believe you have a slide that can show all of this information. But we have now grown in the telematics business. We have over 700,000 things tracked worldwide. So we're in over 13 countries, the US being one of our Trojan horses. We came into the US about 4 years ago and are just kind of hitting the ground running with the US market and facilitating the needs here.
And I was so tempted to crack a joke about you using the Trojan. The Trojan term, because obviously on this program we talk about Trojans quite a lot, obviously a different context. Hey, but listen, okay, so it's our partners that are on just now listening to us. Let's think about their SMBs and enterprise customers. What are you offering that would be important to these business clients and prospects?
So I think the main thing to take home is that this is now an option through ConectUS for these agents to be able to utilize us and what we do, and that being what we offer to the customer and to them as well. So breaking that into 2 components, we're able to give their customers all of this data, however they need to receive it. So through our platform, they're able to see everything within the spectrum of what their assets are doing on a day-to-day basis, where they're at, who's using them, anything that they need to see from their assets throughout the day. So that's number one.
Now, I'm pulling up your slide that you sent to me showing vehicle tracking, dash cams, and so on. Would you like to talk us just through these examples that you've shared with me?
So we do offer GPS, obviously fleet tracking. We offer asset tracking. So maybe it's yellow iron, maybe they have large generators. We did a deal recently with an agent for porta potties that they needed tracked. So whatever a company owns that they need eyes on, that's what we do in the world of tracking. We also offer camera, as Angela spoke about a little bit, whether they need road only, road and driver. If they want to play in the world of AI, we can do all the above. We also offer ELD as well, so electronic logging should they need that.
Perfect. Let's delve a little bit more, Alex, into the dash cams. You talked about forward looking and also possibly looking at the driver as well. Is that recording all the time, or is it on a circuit, or is there a choice for the end customer?
So the way that the cameras work, they have a SD card built into them. So it is recording at all times. The information that transmits back to the user interface is event-based. So when an event actually happens, whether that's hard braking, rapid acceleration, an accelerometer event, it could be impact detected, or it could even be those AI features like not looking at the road, seat belt not fastened, those types of things. Those trigger events in our system, and that recording usually sends about 10 seconds of a snippet back to the platform where the end user can go in and see if they need more, if they need to pull the SD card for extensive data. So we're not sending all this data over the web. That would be a major, major drag on the network, on the cellular network. So we send necessary data over to the user interface.
Now, Angela, I know that you've created some other videos for us, which we have on myconnectus.com, and thank you for them. But I know that one of the things you said there is going to pique the interest in particular of our partners, of our audience. You mentioned the AI noting what the driver's doing. Can you go into a little bit more detail for our audience just now, please?
Yeah, so AI is a somewhat new product to the U.S. market. We kind of all started seeing this in the CSI Miami phase and all the different fun stuff that they could do. So the world wants more information. So that's what we're doing from a technology standpoint. We're giving more information. How could we maybe prevent the accident before it ever happened? So when you have a driver who is notoriously taking their eyes off of the road, they're notoriously following too closely to the vehicle in front of them, we're able to provide this information that can give coaching opportunities to prevent the accident before it ever occurs. So when you see on a score basis that you have a driver who is just performing negatively, you can either eliminate that person from your fleet or you can coach them up to stop the litigation before it starts.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Now, we're all familiar, of course, with accelerometers inside our smartphones. Where would the accelerometers or gyroscopes be with your equipment that's monitoring the behavior of these vehicles?
Yeah, so it's built into the device itself. So we have a gyroscope and accelerometer built into the little device that plugs into that port that we were talking about earlier, that the mechanics. So we put a Y cable there so the mechanics can still access the port, and our device would be hidden up under the dash but plugged into there. So we're getting all of that data, and any movement that the vehicle is experiencing, we're feeding it through our device.
Thank you. Hey, listen, I'm pulling up the slide again just for a moment. Tell us a little bit more about refrigeration monitoring, please.
Sure. So we are actually integrated with the two largest reefer suppliers in the U.S., both Thermo King and Carrier. So we can pull their data directly into our platform with the use of a cable connecting to their output. So it is a different device than our standard OBD2 device, but it does allow for us to not only see refrigeration data, but it also allows for us to see diagnostic data around that refrigeration unit. So if you have a reefer that is underperforming or it's getting hot or any of these things, we can diagnose that early on so it can be maintained and serviced properly.
So our partners could sell that solution to new carriers, sorry, no pun intended, new refrigerated freight carriers?
Yes. So you may have a fleet that has in the real world, you may have a fleet that has 10 tractor trailers, but they've got 10 tractors, but they've got 50 trailers because they're hauling trailers all over the US. And
Yes.
10 of those might be refrigeration trailers because they're hauling food or produce or something like that. So this is really important for them to have ultimate visibility in their entire fleet.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Alex, I missed what you said there.
One-stop shop. Just one place,
One-stop
one throat
shop.
to choke, however you want to look at it.
One throat to choke. I love that term. Thank you so much. Yeah, Alex, while you're talking, let me ask you, what's in it for our partners selling these solutions?
Well, I think the number one thing, without being too Pollyanna and cheesy, is that customer service, and knowing that when they bring us one of their customers, we treat that person as our own, as one of our own. So as one of our children, as however you want to look at it, someone who needs to be successful with the platform, who needs to be successful with us, because we know that the agent's name is on this relationship. And I think in the world of today, that gets lost a lot. Angela sees it lost. I see it lost. We've all seen it lost, especially in the world of technology. The relationship seems like it's kind of far off, and we do not treat it that way. We hold them close. We take care of them. We make sure they're happy, that everything's good. I tell folks all the time, in the world of technology, at times something's going to go wrong, and you want to make sure when it does that someone answers the phone, that you have multiple ways to get a hold of them, all the things. Outside of that, how they get paid is very important. We offer a very lucrative compensation package for them, averaging around 20%. So, we just did a deal. I mentioned the porta potties. We just did a deal here about a month ago with an agent. It was a little over 200 units. And that agent is getting a very sizable commission check. So, it's important that they get paid for bringing us their business, and that everyone just has a smooth process.
So, Alex, from a pricing perspective, how does Radius compare with your competitors?
I think one of the biggest things is our nimbleness and how we're able to price and structure things. Obviously, the agent is going to get paid on a higher level when we have a contract in place. However, we are able to do no contract if someone comes and says, hey, I'm currently under contract, it's a make or break for me, and we know we have to go in with no contract, then we have a structure to do so. Very competitive in the market with all of our price points. We can, like I said, we can be as nimble as we need to be. Also on the agent side, the pricing, as far as not pricing, but commission, I think that's really important for them to know that from A to Z, they're going to get paid. So if we need to go in with no contract, the agent's still going to get paid. If we're able to go in on a 3-year contract and price it correctly, then you know what, they're going to get paid the highest number that we can shell out. So we have a spectrum that we can work off of and make sure that they're paid and paid accordingly and well, and that the customer can get what they need.
Perfect.
I think the other thing to note, Neil, is that we are going to do everything that we can to win the business. So at the end of the day, the agent doesn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, well, their pricing, they're not going to be able to be in the game because of the pricing. We will do everything we can to win business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen, Rick will be sending out to all of our partners links to your videos and to the other collaterals that you sent over to us. Thank you very much for these collaterals. But in the meantime, if anyone is feeling the urgency, and hope they are, to talk to you right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So call me. That's the best way. Email is fine as well. I'm actually working with ConectUS managers now to work down through the agents and be able to have touch points with everyone. But certainly, if you want to flash my phone number and email up there for them, Neil, that would be great. Call me anytime, and we'll start off our relationship.
Alex Burgin and Angela Lawson, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Y'all take care. Bye
Have
for
a
now.
good day.
Yes.
So, to continue talking about the Q2 offers, rather than me talking like I usually do, let's say hello to Shelley Stapp. Hey Shelley, glad to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. So you're down there in the South Texas, Amarillo. What's the weather like there these days, spring or summer?
Well, actually, we've been bouncing between spring and winter every once in a while. We're finally, I believe, full-fledged into spring.
Thank you, Shelley. So will we see you again in a couple of weeks'
Yes, I'd be happy to. Very honored.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again, Shelley.
Thank you. You too.
And remember to keep looking at the two sheets of the crib sheet, the aid memoir that shows you all of the ongoing Q2 offers and when they're due to end. Obviously, Verizon confidential, so don't share the end dates with your business clients. Also, be looking out all the time for emails coming from Rick Stapp. All right. But for now, I'd like to thank you all again for your efforts during SMB Days last week. A very successful week for us all. My thanks to Angela Lawson and Alex Burgin from Radius Telematics, and also to Shelley Stapp, who walked us through some of the ongoing offers for Q2. I shall look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks' time. Thanks all for watching. Take care.